Yo, when it comes to reality creation, the hard thing isn't getting the success, but maintaining it. This is difficult because of the insidious nature of the subconscious mind, which tends towards self-sabotage. You're going to just burn all your success in a blaze if you don't handle a lot of this inner work. Let me give you a quote that I ran into the other day by Emmett Fox while reading the Sermon on the Mount. In the long run, no one can retain what does not belong to him by consciousness, nor be deprived of that which is truly his by the same supreme title. What does this mean? This means that you need to own it if you want to maintain it. Let me give you a quick story that demonstrates this. 10 years prior, I met this guy, right, who I actually ran into at the store the other day. But 10 years earlier, he used to be really obese. He used to love junk food, KFC, McDonald's, all that, and had a tough time with girls because, like he wasn't the most attractive guy. But then this guy, look, he stumbled across the vegan diet. And yes, like most vegans, he took to social media and made everyone that wasn't vegan feel bad and did that whole 9 yards. But unlike most vegans, he actually got serious results. This guy went from being obese to thin and had abs and became handsome. His face was chiseled, looks maxing. It was the looks maxing before the looks maxing. And he started getting attention from the ladies. He was attending, his vegan parades on the weekends. And
you're responsible for the enslavement and genocide of millions.
But he was actually getting tangible results. So I was proud of him. I was happy. I was like, cool, you do your thing. I ran into this guy 10 years later while shopping, and this guy was bigger than he ever was. And I was like, surely he must have fell off the vegan diet. In reality, he still was vegan. He was actually in the Beyond Meat section looking for a Beyond Burger, but he was bigger and not looking happy and no girlfriend inside. So what happened here? He sabotaged himself. The subconscious mind is so good at destroying your efforts if you do not own them. Emmett Fox said you need to own it in consciousness. What does that mean? It means that your self-image needs to really be in resonance with this ideal that you want. You need to believe it at the core level. My friend was doing everything in the outside world to lose weight, and he did lose weight for some time, through conscious effort. But because he was still fat inside his mind, he had that inner fat boy forever running around in his mind, eating ice creams, eating cakes.
Once a fat kid, always a fat kid. Huh? Prove me wrong.
Wow, come on, do what you did in the bar.
So even within the constraints of the vegan diet, instead of eating a sweet potato, which is natural, normal, he chose to eat the preservatives, the artificial, ultra-processed Beyond Burger, right? And hopefully they don't sue me or come after me, but they're not the same thing, right? So you will find ways to sabotage your success. And you likely have heard the saying that if the wealth of the world was spread out evenly amongst everybody, redistributed, the people at the top will go back to the top. The people at the bottom will stay at the bottom. It's a thought experiment, but it's likely true. Now, you might not have Jeff Bezos as number one or Elon Musk, but all those people that did well under their own work, that earned it, will come back to where they were. It's because they have the beliefs that can create success. Now, this is obviously seen in so many cases of life. Like when you think of trust fund babies, they struggle to maintain the wealth of the family because they never earned it. It was never theirs in consciousness. It was given to them. Their father or mother worked hard, did everything that was needed to build the family, and they just used it, coke and hookers and all sorts of adventures in Mexico because they didn't earn it. You have to earn it. A cool documentary that really shows this idea or this concept is called Reversal of Fortune. Basically, these documentary filmmakers, it's kind of cruel in a way, gave this homeless dude $100,000. Like, yo, here's $100,000. The only terms and conditions are we have to film you over several months. And, spoiler alert, he ended up burning all the money and went back to being homeless. This wasn't his fault. His inner world did not reflect the state of someone with $100,000. You're always reflecting what you believe to be true. So if you have $20,000 in your bank account, you're a $20,000 type of man or woman. If you have $1 million in your bank account, you're $1 million type of man or woman. If you want, you would lose that money eventually. Right? It's not gonna stay there. That's why you notice that your average salary, if you look at how much you make every single year, whether you work a 9 to 5 or you have a business, you notice that it doesn't really leap often, right? It tends to stay the same. You know, if you make 500,000 a year, it tends to stay the same. Why is that? Because that's your comfort zone, that's your little bubble. And whenever you see these big jumps in, let's say, your income, they tend to reflect huge inner world changes in your belief systems, changes in the way you see the world, changes in the way that you see yourself. That's what leads to these changes in the outer world. And this all goes back to that ancient Hermetic axiom, as above, so below. That's what a lot of people know. But not so many people know the second part of that phrase, as within, so without, or as without, so within. It's the same thing, right? As above, so below. We have different planes of correspondence according to the Hermetic philosophy. We have the physical world, which we are interacting with here. We have the mental world and the spiritual world. This philosophy says that a lot of the stuff that happens in the spiritual and mental world gets reflected on the physical. And you might have seen this where you have a dream. Dream is in the mental plane. And something happens in that dream. You see a book, or you eat some sort of food, or you see an old friend you haven't seen in a while. When you wake up that day, some element of that dream occurs in your physical world. And the same correspondence happens when something in your physical world happens, you know, like an event, and then you have a dream and there's a continuation of that. So they're interrelated between those two planes. But let's bring this down to earth. As within, so without. Your beliefs, the way you see yourself, is going to get reflected in your outer world. It doesn't happen instantly. You know, a lot of people talk about the law of attraction and manifestation and as if it's like magic. All this stuff happens through real world phenomena, right? The way you see things changes. We talked before about how if the wealth was redistributed, the same people will become rich again. Suppose their mind has been tuned in to seek opportunities. The reticular activation system filters out the bullshit. It's not watching the Kardashians. It's looking for business deals. It's looking for ways to create leverage and get an ROI. Whereas the poor person is looking for ways to numb themselves, ways to drink alcohol, smoke weed, visit a hooker or what have you, to escape from the world. A lot of our inner habits create our outside world. There is no magic needed, right? So next time you want to keep the success that you've built or take yourself to the next level, don't just look at outer world phenomena. Look in your inner world, and you do this through things such as healing trauma, inner child work, you know, affirmations, lucid dreaming. I'm giving you the game here, right? And if you like that, make sure you like this video, and you'll be one step closer to living and dying well. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notifications so we can see more of each other. Until next time.